Are you ready for Bacchanal, 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 Bacchanal?
Good afternoon. We're here in the United Colours of Mass band camp, and I have with me two men behind the whole concept, Paul and Richard. And we'll be finding out a bit more about what goes on behind the scenes. So Paul, where did it all start for you?
Basically, we started off as Bacchanal Mass back in 1997. We was with another band prior to that, and we decided that it was time to like venture into the mass scene alone. Me do my own thing, get recognition for what I was actually doing, rather than being behind the scenes in another band. And basically, Bacchanal Mass was formed in 1997. Our first year on the road was 1998 with our theme Paradise. And yeah, basically we've been going since then, and now we've decided to basically take the band in a new direction, new route, new outlook. And this year we've decided to rebrand the band and rename the band as UCOM, United Colours of Mass.
Great. And for you, Richard, where did this all start?
Carnival in general, it started, I think I was about 19 and I started working in an office, and one of the girls there said she's involved in Carnival. And to me, back then I always thought, well, I used to go to Carnival but not be a masquerader, and I thought you couldn't get involved. I thought you had to do something very special to be involved and be able to wear costumes. So she said, no, come along and take part with her. So I think the first year I played with Coquet in a t-shirt. Wasn't brave enough to put a costume on as yet. So that was my first experience, and I was crazy nervous, thinking, how am I going to do this? Millions of people looking at me. And yeah, just drank lots and the day went by I don't think that it was the most amazing fun experience that I did have. And it's pretty hard to explain, but the buzz and the atmosphere with the people around you, the friends, party on the street, open air, it's just quite a very unique feeling. And from then I was hooked. So I was always a masquerader for about 10 years. And I was always interested in what happened in the background. And that's when I met Paul, and he was a designer, so I got involved in the production and sort of making the costumes and just seeing how things run a bit more. So I've done that for 2 years with Paul, and then sort of from being on both sides, you sort of know, you as a consumer, what you would like. So I said to him, well, I think we can do this by ourselves and do something pretty amazing. And Paul was up for the idea, and that's when we formed Bacchanal Mass, that Paul said in 1997. And that's sort of the history of how we came together as a band, and just no looking back since then. It's sort of lots of hard work. It's very stressful, lots of sleepless nights, and it always gets to the point where you think, I'm never doing this again. And you hit the road, you get goosebumps, you get emotional, and you think, right, I can't wait for next year. So that's sort of my story of Carnival.
Okay. Paul, you are the brains behind the designing. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, you're right in saying, well, basically I'm the artistic director who basically comes up with the overall theme, the overall concepts, and I guess the style of the band that we're going for each year. The two designers that I'm basically training up, they kind of look to me for advice and guidance on what they're going to be designing, whether their designs are in keeping with the theme and style that I'm looking for. And I just kind of mentor them, just give them as much guidance as I can to try and keep our theme kind of clear, concise and clean looking on the road, so you can see, you know, although there's three designers doing it, we actually look like one band on the road. So yeah, that's kind of it.
What things have you come up with in the past?
Oh, we've come up with a lot of different themes, played around with a lot of different ideas and styles as well. Our first theme was Paradise, which was kind of more fantasy, more elaborate, detailed costumes. Then our next theme was kind of, I guess, a more serious theme where we went and played Seven Deadly Sins, and we actually had another side to it, which was the seven heavenly virtues. So we had two flip sides to the theme as well. We've also done a more traditional theme, actually entitled Traditions, which focus more on Caribbean folklore and old tales and myths, I guess. And then our current theme that we're going into now is Tribes of the World, which I guess is still a more serious theme. It's depicting actual characters and different tribes from all over the world. So I guess we have to be careful when we're representing certain tribes from certain places, because we don't want people to get offended. So yeah, that's where we're going.
What was your big inspiration for this year?
The big inspiration for this year, I guess, was the Olympics. I didn't want to do a typical Olympic theme where, it kind of gets a bit cliche and, it's kind of expected because it's the Olympic year and we're in London and it's happening here. It would be something, tied into the symbols and events and sports and whatever. So I thought to myself, well, how can I represent, the world itself and, still kind of tie it into the Olympic year, but showcase the kind of style of costumes that we normally do as well. So the theme Tribes of the World, it kind of ties in everything, because we're looking at Africa, Asia, America, Brazil. We're going everywhere and basically bringing the whole world together on the road.
What part have you had to play in Paul's dream for next year's carnival?
Well, what part have I had to play?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would say sort of just making sure everything runs smoothly in the background, so he can focus on his design and mentoring Shay and Fredo to get the best out of them as well, to get everything on the road. So sort of taking the stress away of worrying about, oh my god, have we filled in a form or have we missed this deadline? Sort of those are sort of down to me to manage, and also be looking for a mass camp soon, well, early in next year, so that's for me to sort of find out and sort of just take the stress away from him.
So you can focus on what you're supposed to be focusing on.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So what other projects are you currently working on?
Well, currently at the moment I'm working on quite a few projects. I've actually just finished some prototypes for another band, coincidentally in Notting Hill, who I will actually be not just designing but producing all their costumes for them. And I'm also knee deep right now in our production for Trinidad. We actually have a section with Decrew Carnival entitled Warrior, so it actually still ties in with our theme that we're doing. It's a white and gold section, and as I said, like, the production is literally going on right now, as you can see all around you. I'm actually going to be going to Trinidad on the 3rd of January, and I'll be there for 2 months, producing all the headpieces and obviously making sure the costumes are finished on time and distributed to our masqueraders over there.
Exciting time.
Yeah, very exciting.
And Richard, are you going to Trinidad as well?
Unfortunately not. I'm going to be here holding the fort. As you know, we launched back on the 26th of November. Yeah. 26th of November we launched our costumes.
Yes.
For Notting Hill next year. So that's sort of running at the moment. So we're taking bookings and sort of providing customer service to masqueraders if they have got questions. Somebody needs to be here to sort of answer them and hold the fort. And also production has already started for next year. So we don't just start in July and then knock them all together. We've got approximately 350 costumes to make for next year. So it's a massive job. So while Paul's away, I'll be sort of looking after getting the production going and stuff here.
So not even for the 2 days?
No. No. I'm not. Unfortunately not. I would have loved to have been there, but yeah.
I can't say that. What would you say are the highest points in your career within the carnival mass arena and what you do outside of that?
For me, I would say the biggest highlights is seeing your creations on the road on Carnival Day. I guess it's not just a visual aspect of it, but it's actual sense of satisfaction that it brings to me. Like, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's taken me a good few years to get where I'm at right now. But on top of that too, it's like, you know, not many UK mass designers can say that they've designing for other bands and also bringing masks to, for me, the land of carnival, which is Trinidad. Seeing my section, like, I've already had a section there this year, seeing it on the stage in its full glory, and obviously this year was the first year the stage was back after a few years of it being gone, was amazing. And, you know, there was people in the UK calling me and telling me, oh, we saw your section on TV, we saw it on the internet. Excellent. And, you know, for me that was a great feeling, and that's what kind of drives me to every year try and be on top of my game, try and better myself, because as far as I'm concerned, you know, every year I say to myself, yeah, I've kind of hit the peak of where I can reach, but now I feel like, you know, I feel like I can do better every year now. Every year a year finishes, I feel like I can do better the following year, and I think it shows, you know, shows in the work that I'm doing now.
That's fantastic. And what are your highlights in your career?
I think in the world of mass was our first year on the road in 2008. When we started it, we had an idea of, well, we knew what we wanted to do and where we wanted to get to, but we didn't have the experience of actually running a mass band. So where Paul had been a designer and I'd help with production, we were more on the production side. So it was quite scary. In the first year, I would say, figuring out sort of costs, getting a mass camp, materials, just generally even how to register to be part of Notting Hill Carnival. We literally learnt everything ourselves, so I can honestly say we didn't have any help. And when the band hit the road on Carnival morning 2008, we had sort of a fun day on a Sunday, which was called Liquid Gold. I think we had about 60 people that year, and it was small, but it was nice. It was very close, and everyone knew each other, and it was very comfortable. But the highlight was Monday morning when it was our first year. I think we had about 200 people in costume in our first year of having the band, and sort of seeing that was very emotional. Very, very emotional.
Really?
Sort of started crying, saw the band going on. Everyone said, oh, well done. And it, like, every time somebody said well done, it got weaker and weaker and weaker. And then somebody, I think my mum came up to me and gave me a hug, and that was it. It was over. But, but it was so amazing. And just seeing how happy everyone was in the costumes, and how appreciative they were of all the hard work, because Carnival is, I would say, a thankless task. And when somebody comes up to you and says, thank you, my experience has been amazing so far, and I'm not just talking about the costume they get, they're talking about the whole service from the time they book the costumes, and us being there to answer questions, because we had a lot of people who came to us and said, it's my 30th this year, I want to do Carnival, I've never done it before, what is it about, sort of thing. So we took the time to sit down and talk to them, and you find they're the ones with a lot of questions, and they apologise for asking questions, but we're happy to help them, because I was that person once many years ago, and I understand where they're coming from. So just getting that appreciation from everyone. So
Okay, I'm going to ask a slightly controversial question now. Rumour has it that due to resignations from certain members of people from the Carnival board, that next year may be the last Carnival seen in Notting Hill in the UK ever. How would that affect you? How does that affect you, and what do you think about that?
For me, you know, Carnival itself is controversial, and it has been for a lot of years. Even before the people who resigned came on board, it was, you know, it was always up in the air. Back in the days where Claire Holder was running Carnival, we had a lot of difficulties. But I kind of feel like there is a lot of people, and a lot of influential people, who are involved in Carnival, and may not even be involved in Carnival yet, that you know, could step in, could take the role, could take the reins, and, you know, give Carnival a new lease of life that it actually needs. Me personally, I hope and I don't think that next year is going to be the last Carnival. If anything was to happen to Carnival, it would have this year gone would have been the last Carnival, and next year wouldn't happen at all. So if Carnival happens next year, I feel like, you know, people have stepped in, people have taken the reins, and are trying to, you know, make Carnival continue into the future. And even down to myself included, and probably even Richard, if we knew we could do something to save Carnival, then obviously we would step in. And I'm sure among the other 60, you know, mass bands and however many still bands and other people involved in Carnival, you know, there's probably hundreds of people collectively who could actually step in, do the job, help out, make Carnival a success year on year, and hopefully it will be around for a long time. But I'd hope to not think that Carnival is going to die, you know, is going to end next year.
Very passionate about that.
Very passionate.
And for you, Richard, how I mean, posing the same question, you know, with the rumours that next year may be the last Carnival, how do you feel about that?
It will make me very sad. I mean, I've been involved in Carnival in the sense of organising and getting bands on the road for, it's been up my 5th year, and sort of every year since I've started doing Carnival has been under some sort of threat not to happen.
That's true.
So
That is true.
I'm hoping that's the same situation for 2012. But I mean, if Carnival, Notting Hill Carnival, did not go ahead after 2012, I think there are other avenues, other carnivals around the UK, and sort of other opportunities sort of internationally also for us to sort of get involved in. Like I said, we do other things apart from Notting Hill Carnival, so Paul's conducting some workshops at the moment, which he's sort of heavily involved in. Like I said, he's doing Trinidad Carnival as well. What else we do? We had a work experience girl here this year for Carnival 2011, so even if Notting Hill isn't happening, we'll still be heavily involved whichever way we can get in there, because it is our passion, it is our life, it's something that we love and we enjoy. It's just it's a great thing. Carnival is, if you're not involved, it's hard to explain to somebody exactly what it is, so we would say just come down and have a play around with some gems and some fabric and get the Carnival bug.
Good. So what are your plans for the future, Paul? What other great ideas have you got buzzing around in your head?
My plans for the future are preferably to I guess not retire, but to semi-retire as the main designer of UCOM. As I said, I'm training up 2 young people who, you know, they're showing great passion and, you know, similar skills to what I had when I was first learning how to make masks and put costumes together and design. So I'm hoping that I can kind of, you know, not totally retire, but take a back seat, you know, just more concentrate on artistically directing them and more coming up with the concepts and just guiding them and making sure the production is on point, and pretty much going down that avenue. And I guess internationally, I'm probably looking at continuing doing what I'm doing in Trinidad. I'm also looking into going into importing materials and costume components and stuff like that into the UK, and probably opening up a business where I could be supplying other carnival bands, not just in the UK but Europe bound, maybe even as far as Trinidad as well. And yeah, I guess just putting a lot of things into place to give myself some life security, and whilst still continuing in the mass business too.
Okay, that's good. That's very good. And what are your plans for the future, Richard?
Maybe sort of on the same line as Paul, but maybe away a little bit.
Okay.
Where I think I want to help people to understand and get involved in the culture, and even if they're not getting involved in the culture, learn the skills of that. So, like I said, Paul runs workshops, but I want to take it a step further where people can get a qualification from coming in to a mass camp and working on stuff.
Wow.
Like I said, we don't just do costumes, we've got sort of marketing, there's loads of admin, there's accounts involved, so there's a lot of stuff which I've been lucky enough to gain experience and learn along the way, and I would like to share that with other people and lift them up to a stage where they can go out there and do something either with us or by themselves.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's just about getting the community involved and lifting everyone up.
And getting everybody on the same level as you.
Well, yeah, they can try, but who knows?
But you're the top, yeah. So we found out a bit more about what happens behind UCOM, as it's now going to be more commonly known. And I'd like to thank Paul and Richard for sparing time to talk to us. And just so that you know, we will be following them both throughout the year until Carnival, till we find out exactly what the end result is going to look like on the road. And going by the designs that I'm seeing within the room, I would say it's going to be fantastic. And for you, Paul, good luck with Trinidad, and I hope that you can get some footage on how it's actually gone, how your section performed, and where they actually placed, so that we can know what to look forward to in the summer.
Yeah, definitely.
And for you, Richard, who's not going to Trinidad,
rub it in.
that
Go
you continue to keep the show on the road while Paul is in Trinidad.
Yep.
And then again, we'll be seeing you again to look at how things are progressing.
Yeah, I shall be seeing me less ungroomed and more bags onto the eyes, but yeah, you'll see me again.
Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Are you ready for Bacchanal? Bacchanal.